Hi guys, it's Darlene, and for this week's nutrition topic, I'm going to be talking about squash. As you all know, summer is right around the corner, and some common summer squash are the coyote squash. This lesser known squash is originated in Mexico, but it is now grown all over the world. There's a causa squash, zucchini, yellow zucchini, loofah squash, patty pan squash, round zucchini, yellow crookneck squash, and honey nut squash. When to grow squash. Squash does not grow well in cool weather. Plant in the spring after all danger of frost has passed. For a good fall crop, plant early so squash will mature before the first killing frost. Most varieties take 45 to 60 days from planting to harvest. Benefits of squash. Squash are good sources of vitamin A, C, and B vitamins. They're high in antioxidants and they're rich in minerals such as potassium, magnesium, and manganese. And of course, as a whole plant foods, they are also rich in fiber and water, making them both hydrating and good for the gut. What does squash do to the body? The antioxidants in squash can play an important role in reducing oxidative stress. In turn, these may help with cancer prevention. The vitamin C and beta carotene found in squash may help to slow the progression of macular degeneration, which we discussed in last week's wellness discussion, and reduce the chances of related vision loss. Can squash be eaten every day? Members of the squash family are high in carotenoids. Consuming them can help guard against health diseases and some cancers. They recommend eating squashes like pumpkin 3 times a week to realize its multitude of health benefits. And here's a recipe, and it's called stuffed honey nut squash. Ingredients for roasted stuffed honey nut squash. You will need 1 large or 2 small honey nut squash, heavy-duty sheet pan, and a cooking spray. To stuff the roasted honey nut squash, you will need ground meat extra virgin olive oil, yellow onion, garlic, apple, celery, rosemary, salt and pepper, and chopped pecans. How to roast honey nut squash. Before stuffing, the squash needs to be roasted. So you would cut the squash in half lengthwise and scoop out the seeds. Save them to make roasted squash seeds. Place the squash flesh down onto a heavy-duty sheet pan lightly sprayed with cooking spray. Use an avocado or extra virgin olive oil spray. Roast for about 25 minutes until flesh is fork tender and edges of the squash are starting to turn golden brown and shrivel a bit. Don't over roast the squash to the point of mush or it will be hard to keep its shape in order to stuff. Once it's roasted, remove from the oven and let cool until you can safely handle it. Make the stuffing for the squash. To make the stuffing, place a large skillet over medium-high heat. Brown the ground meat of choice in the pan, breaking up with a spatula. If there's excess water in the pan, drain it. Then return to the stove with the meat still in the skillet. Reduce the heat to medium. Add the olive oil, onion, celery, and garlic, and cook until starting to soften, about 5 minutes. Then add the apples and rosemary to the skillet and cook for another 3 to 4 minutes. Then you will season to taste with salt and pepper. Stuff and roast the honey nut squash. So you would scoop the flesh from each half of the honey nut squash and place it into a large mixing bowl. Leave enough of the squash intact around the perimeter so it can maintain its shape upright as a bowl. Add the filling from the skillet to the mixing bowl and stir until fully combined. Season again with salt and pepper as necessary. Spoon the mixture back into the hollowed out squash and top it with the chopped pecans. Return the stuffed honey nut squash on the baking sheet to the oven and roast for another 5 minutes until heated through. Then garnish with any additional fresh chopped rosemary and served warm. And enjoy. Thank you for listening to this nutrition segment on squash, where we also included a recipe. Please remember to share and like our videos as it helps with funding. Thank you.